Hi, I'm Bobby. Welcome back. Day two of Spring into Mindfulness. So let me just begin by asking, how are you doing? And I don't want you to answer that reflexively. That's part of that conditioning, that hypnosis of social conditioning that we are conditioned to say, oh, I'm great. If I was any better, I'd be twins. How are you actually doing? Check in and see, where are you on that scale right now? 99, you'll remember, is ready to run off into the night, yelling and screaming, using whatever coping mechanism that it is that you use when you have more stress than you want to handle. One is you're kind of like the big guy back there in that Buddha state, that Zen state where you're locked and grounded, and you're in that very spiritual state that some people call unfuckwithable. Not a technical term, but in that state where you're so calm and so peaceful that a storm can be raging outside. You can be in the midst of chaos, but you're focused, you're calm, you're grounded. You've got access to a lot more resources. And that's one of the things that we want to explore on this journey. Is that a space that we can be in more often, all the time, always? I don't know. You may not know either, but we'll see. It's going to be a fun exploration. And I want to talk a little bit about being in the moment, being present, really embracing the power of now. It's a very, very different state than what we often do. I had a conversation with a client the other day who was explaining that he's just time traveling all the time. When he's at work, he's thinking that he needs to be home, spending more time with his kids and his wife. When he's at home, he's worried about projects that he's going to fall behind on if he's not burning the midnight oil. And he said at one point to me, he says, it's no wonder that I'm never get anything done. I'm always traveling. Kind of a common story for a lot of people. It may be something that you relate to perhaps intimately. And that's something that we can undo. And that's one of the reasons that using that little countdown timer on your smartphone is such an amazingly powerful tool, because it interrupts these unconscious patterns that are flying off all the time and gets us to stop and take a moment, be fully present. And we all have had those moments, awe inspiring moments. I'm not talking about awesome, dude. Awesome, man. It was awesome. The cake was awesome. Truly awe inspiring. Those moments that take your breath away, that are moments that are beyond words. It may be holding a child or a grandchild for the first time, or seeing some miracle unfold in nature. Or it could be something as simple as watching a beautiful sunset with the right people, just creating the moment. But one of the things that is common about all of those is they tend to be things that take your breath away and are kind of beyond words. And in some of those moments, about all you can manage is a phrase like, oh my God. But again, not the way that we throw it around all too commonly today. But you can think of those moments when you see something that is tragic or beautiful or wonderful, where everything just stands still and your total attention is absorbed in the moment. And you say, oh my God. And think about what that means when you say it that way. Oh, means it really caught your attention, that you are fully absorbed in this moment. My, it means it touched something very deep inside of you, something spiritual inside of you. And God, in that moment, you're recognizing that who we truly are, our true nature, the connectedness that we have to all of this that's going on is so much more than this body and this mind. It's something that's truly beyond words. I want to talk a little bit about words. Einstein's got a phrase that is one of my favorites of his, very useful in the work that I do. It is that the rational mind is a faithful servant. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift. But we live in a society that worships the servant and has forgotten the gift. And one of the things that I would invite you to explore as we continue on this journey together is just how often the story is so important. Not necessarily what happens, but how you're going to represent what happens. One of the things with social media that has happened is people have a fear of missing out, FOMO. And that's because so many people are posting only wonderful things that happen to them in their life. In fact, there's a craze supposedly with teenage girls where if a girl is grounded or she's got homework to do and there's some sort of party that's going on, she will ask a friend to take her phone to the party and post on social media as if she's there. So she can create the image, or could be he, it's not necessarily a girl thing, so that they, to use the gender neutral term that are becoming all of the vogue these days, so that they can give the impression that they are living this absolutely fabulous life. Everybody's seen, some of the cool things that you can do on Instagram to make your image of yourself look a lot more impressive, a lot younger through some of the filters that they've got on there. It's this image that we want to hold up, the mask that we're holding up for people. A lot of the things that we do are in service to that mask, in service to the story, in service to the constructed image that we have for ourselves. And the term for that is ego. So, are you showing up for your true, authentic self? Or are you showing up for ego? There's another phrase that I'd like to introduce you to, a saying that I'd like to introduce you to by a Jesuit priest from, I believe, the 1800s, might have been the 1900s. His name was Pierre Teilhard Desjardins. Apologies to anybody who actually speaks French. And what he said is that we're not human beings that occasionally have spiritual experiences. Rather, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. And we're going to explore that a little bit more as we continue on this journey as well. And today I want to introduce you to one of the sources of stress in our life, and that is the gap between the way life is unfolding and the way that we would like it to unfold. And I just want you to explore as you're feeling stress, just go within and say, okay, what's going on right now? Why am I feeling stress right now? and see if they're not two essential keys in order for you to be experiencing stress. One is that you're not present. You're either traveling off to the future or you're reliving something that happened in the past. If it's something that's in the past, it did not go the way that you hoped it would go. If it's out into the future, you're worried that it will not unfold in the way that you want it to unfold. And every culture in our society, every wisdom or religious tradition that has ever been invented that's lasted the test of time has talked about that as a source of suffering. It's talked about that we actually are something much bigger than this constructed egoic identity that we walk around overly identified with, so overly identified that we'll often tell those little white lies to make things a little bit better than they are. We tell fish tales to make a story a little bit better, to make us seem a little bit cooler, to make us fit in and be accepted by the right folks. And so that we're protecting that constructed image of ourselves. So, over the course of the next couple of days, as you're doing that check in, when you're a little bit higher than you would like to be, I just want you to kind of sit for a second and see what's going on the inside. Pull that string a little bit, explore what's going on inside of you, and see if those two ingredients are involved. One is that you're not in the moment, that you're time traveling, and it's fine to time travel. It's fine to reminisce. Nothing wrong with those things happen. But if you think about it, those things are only happening in the eternal now. The times that are happening in the future, we're imagining a potential future that may or may not happen in a now that is not yet. And when we reminisce, we're recalling to mind something that happened some time ago, but we're doing that in this moment, reliving those things. So, over the course of the next couple of days, I invite you to play with that a little bit. And right now, don't judge, don't try to fix anything, just observe, just be a witness. This phase of the process is about gathering baseline information. So if you haven't started doing it yet, go ahead and set a timer on there. I recommend that you start. I think yesterday I might have said 47 minutes. It could be 44, somewhere underneath an hour, but not so infrequent that it gets annoying, unless you find that every time you check in, you're a little agitated or a little bit uncomfortable. We're going to explore in the next few days what those feelings are actually telling us. And I think you'll discover that it's not what you think that it is, but that exploration will be a lot more valuable to you if you check. So, three things right now. Continue to do that timer and just interrupt and use when anybody asks you, hey, how you doing? Don't reflexively respond to that. Go within and actually check it out. See, how are you really doing? And check, where are you on the scale? When are you on the scale? And just do a little exploration. If you're feeling really good in that moment, just sit with that for a little bit and see what's the sauce? What kind of bouillabaisse are you concocting there? What sort of stew are you making that's giving you those good, warm feelings? And if you're not particularly happy with, not that you need to judge it, but you're just noticing. If If you're a little bit more agitated or uncomfortable or stressed or whatever, pull on that string a little bit and just explore, what is it that's causing this to happen? This journey that we're on is a journey within, and it's a journey that is fiercely reductive as we continue to go. There's nothing here that I'm going to be teaching you. It's going to be some suggestions that I'm going to invite you to try for yourself and see from your own experience. But I don't want you doing anything because I'm telling you to do it. I don't want you to believe anything that I'm saying because I'm the guy on the camera that's making the noise. I want you to go inside and explore for yourself and see what your own experience is. And as you gather baseline information, the stuff that we're going to do in the next couple of days and weeks is going to be so much more valuable. And here are a couple of other suggestions. If you haven't checked into the group, we have a private group. Everybody that's in this group currently is participating in this little journey. So you're going to get feedback from other people, which may be informative. And there's other folks like me and myself. If you ask a question in there, um, if something that I said doesn't make sense, ask a question and I'll do my best to answer it. In some cases, I may make another short video that I'll add to the process there. And then in a week or so, I'm going to have an open line where if you choose to, you'll be able to get on a Zoom call and we'll be able to talk about some of the experiences that are going on. And I'm also going to suggest that you do these in order. So this is day 2. If this is the first video that you've seen, you've missed yesterday. It'd be worth going back and reviewing that. And all of the videos are going to be posted there and on my YouTube channel as well. So you'll be able to go through those in order. And as you're going through this, as you begin to notice some shifts that you like and that you're enjoying and saying, hey, I'm showing up a little bit different. Life is getting a little bit smoother. I'm more in the flow. Should you choose to invite other folks to come along for this journey, they can play catch up or they can just start at the beginning and go on their own 30-day journey there. But it's going to be good to go in order because this is to a degree progressive. A lot of these lessons will kind of stand on their own, but there are going to be some concepts that we're going to be building on. So if you're not getting it, ask a question. So we'll see you again tomorrow. I hope I see some comments and responses there in the group. If you have any questions, reach out. Feel free to direct message me on Facebook. If you want to dive in a little bit deeper, I'm happy to have those conversations as well. So we'll see you tomorrow. Ciao for now.